Unfamiliar, the new understudy Maria was sitting toward the rear of the study hall feeling extremely anxious. She had recently moved to another city and she didn't know anybody. She was additionally stressed over her English abilities. She had been mastering English for a couple of years. However, she was as yet not exceptionally certain. The instructor began the class and Maria attempted to focus yet. It was difficult to focus. She was too bustling, agonizing over what different understudies would think about her sooner or later. The instructor approached Maria to respond to an inquiry. Maria's heart began to race. She didn't have the foggiest idea about the response and she was reluctant to say everything except then. She recollected everything her educator had said to her. It's okay to commit errors, the significant thing is to make an honest effort. Maria took a full breath and responded to the inquiry. Her voice was shaking yet. She figured out how to find the solution out. Different understudies paid attention to her response and afterward they grinned and gestured. Maria was shocked. She had been so stressed over committing an error yet. Different understudies were really being pleasant to her. She began to unwind and she started to partake in the class toward the finish of the class. The educator approached Maria. You worked effectively, she said. I'm glad for you for making an honest effort. Maria grinned. She was delighted to such an extent that she had come to class today. She realized that she would in any case commit errors yet. She was additionally beginning to accept that she could do this quite a long time ago in a curious little town named Zenith. There, carried on with a youngster named Emily, had an extraordinary enthusiasm for learning and helping other people. She went through her days perusing books, investigating the marvels of nature and chipping in at the neighborhood public venue. One bright morning Emily got a thrilling open door her school had picked her and a gathering of individual understudies to take part in an English language trade program with understudies from a distant land called Viridia. They would endure a month residing with Viridian families, drenching themselves in their way of life and rehearsing English together. Emily's heart hustled with expectation. As she gathered her packs prepared to leave on this fantastic experience, the second she ventured off the plane in Viridia, she was welcomed by comforting grins and open arms. Every understudy was matched with a Viridian companion and Emily's accomplice Mia immediately turned into her dearest friend together. Emily and Mia explored the roads of Viridia, investigating clamoring markets, tasting fascinating food varieties and rehearsing English constantly. They set up diaries in English to account their day-to-day undertakings, went on climbs to find out about neighborhood plants and creatures, and, surprisingly, put on a performance where they carried on renowned English stories through their common encounters. Emily and Mia produced a profound security and aided each other further develop their language abilities. Emily showed Mia expressions and expressions while Mia acquainted Emily with Viridian customs and customs. Their kinship developed further as time passes, as they snickered, learned, and upheld each other. As the month reached a conclusion, Emily and Mia felt self-contradicting feelings. They had developed to see the value in the English language as well as the magnificence of social trade. The day of the goodbye showed up and tears were shed as they bid their impermanent farewells yet. The effect of their time together waited in their souls. Emily got back to Zenith propelled by the force of language to associate individuals from not entirely set in stone to keep cultivating worldwide fellowships. She began an English club at her school where understudies could rehearse English and find out about different societies. Emily's English Club immediately acquired prevalence and soon understudies from everywhere. Zenith joined shaping securities with friends through correspondence from various nations. They traded letters, shared stories and, surprisingly, coordinated video calls to rehearse their language abilities through their common encounters. The understudies of Apex worked on their English as well as fostered a profound appreciation for various societies and viewpoints. They took in the worth of compassion, understanding and liberality, the effect of Emily's English club spread past Apex. The understudies kept on taking an interest in global language trade programs, building associations and companionships with youthful students from around the world. Their accounts of win and solidarity caught the consideration of teachers overall, rousing different schools to embrace language learning and social trade as incredible assets for worldwide comprehension. As Emily's excursion, which started with a basic craving to learn and help other people, ignited a worldwide far-reaching influence, encouraging a local area of language students who celebrated variety gained from each other and trusted in the groundbreaking force of language and companionship. Sometime in the distant past, there was a little kid named Sarah who resided in a little town in the wide open. Sarah wanted going through her days investigating the fields and woods around her home, generally anxious to find something previously unheard of. One day, while she was out investigating, Sarah went over a lovely butterfly that had gotten caught in a cobwebs. Poor people bug was battling to break free, yet it appeared to be like the cobwebs was areas of strength for excessively. Sarah felt frustrated about the butterfly and realized that she needed to help it. She painstakingly moved toward the bug and inquired as to whether it would deliver the butterfly. The bug, who had been watching Sarah from the beginning, consented to do as such on one condition. Sarah needed to get it 3 gleaming rocks trade for the butterfly's opportunity. Sarah consented to the bug's terms and set off looking for the rocks. It had mentioned she looked all over, yet attempt as she would, Sarah couldn't find any sparkling stones that would fulfill the bug. Similarly, as she was going to surrender trust, Sarah met an elderly person who resided in a close-by bungalow. She enlightened him regarding her dilemma and inquired as to whether he knew where she could find the glossy stones. She wanted. The elderly person grinned and said, "My dear, the rocks you look for are not to be found in the fields or woodlands. They exist in yourself. You have the ability to sparkle like a jewel, assuming that you put stock in yourself and your capacities." Sarah was confounded by the elderly person's words, yet she acknowledged them and chose to give it her all. She shut her eyes and zeroed in on the main job, bringing all the certainty and assurance she could marshal. When she opened her eyes, Sarah saw that her hands were gleaming with a delicate, brilliant light. Shockingly, the light combined into 3 wonderful sparkling rocks that appeared to have been framed from the actual embodiment of her own being. With the stones close by, Sarah rushed back to the cobwebs and introduced them to the bug. The bug was flabbergasted by the excellence of the stones and let the butterfly out of its web as guaranteed. Sarah was excited to have saved the butterfly, yet she was considerably more excited to have found the power and magnificence inside herself. From that day forward, she realized that she could defeat any impediment as long as she had confidence in herself and her capacities. Click a video on screen now. If you enjoy this story, then like this video and subscribe this channel now. Also do comment your story or any suggestions. And don't forget to share.